Okay, so we're going to get ready to attach our drawer faces. The first thing that we want to do is go ahead. We're going to end up attaching our drawer faces to our drawer boxes by using screws screwed from the inside of the drawer face, inside of the drawer box into the drawer face. So the first thing that we'll do is we're going to counterbore the locations for the screws in the back of this drawer box, or I should say in the back of the front of the drawer box. So I'm going to put 4 screws in this. So I'm drilling through the drawer box, and this will just make it a little bit of a cleaner hole in the drawer when it gets time to attach it. I'm doing this so you can see, so it's a little bit awkward. Okay, so I've got 4 holes drilled through that drawer box. We're going to go ahead and finish off the other 2 drawers. Okay, and this top drawer is short, so we're only going to put 2 screws into that one. Okay, so our attachment screws are freeboard countersunk. We're going to use 2 different methods for attaching our drawer faces. The first method that we're going to talk about is using the balloon drawer front adjusters. You can see this is a little 20 millimeters in diameter nylon bushing that has a little stamped steel, or maybe it's even aluminum, I'm not sure. It's probably just steel threaded insert, and that insert actually moves around inside of there, so that it gives you the adjustment. We take a machine screw and thread that into there. And you can see probably that this thing, when it's in the loose position, it will move around, and it'll probably give you about 3 millimeters of total adjustment. Okay, so this is the drawer front adjuster. In order to use these, we actually have to drill some mortises or holes in the back side of the drawer face. So I'm going to go ahead and take these bottom 2 drawer faces, and using a Forstner bit, a 20 millimeter Forstner bit, I'm going to go ahead and drill 2 holes in the back side of each of these drawer faces. And I've got my drill press set up already with a 20 millimeter bit on it. And I'm just going to adjust this fence a little bit so that I think it's about the right distance. And I'm going to approximate the middle about 3 to 4 inches from the edge of that drawer face. So I've pre-adjusted that depth. We'll take a look at that in just a second, how I came up with that depth. So we've got our holes drilled. I want to take a look here, George. We've got, these are our dowel centers that we use to actually mark the drawer boxes. And if we drop that dowel center into that hole, it should really be perfectly, very close to being flush right across the top of that hole. So that depth will give us room for our nylon adjuster to fit flush to the bottom of this drawer. So looking at that again, this marking gauge, or this marking center pin, is the correct depth for the adjuster pin. All right, so let me see. This is the bottom drawer. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and leave my dowel centers into my drawer front. And looking at this, this is the bottom drawer front, and the bottom was written so that it would be in the right upward position. I'm going to go over here. Actually, I'm going to use a penny. So, in order to give myself a good mark on the back of that drawer box, I'm going to actually put a penny in the bottom of that hole, and then put the marking pin in, and it'll raise it up, and it'll give me a better mark on the back side of my drawer. So you can get your 2 cents in right there. I'm referencing off the bench, and giving it a little tap with my mallet. And you can see that I've left a mark right there and right there. So those are the 2 little dimples that I've left with my marking pen. I'm now going to take a drill with a 3/16" bit, and I do need a backer board. We'll go ahead and use this right here. So I'm going to put something in back of where I'm drilling through so that it doesn't blow out the drawer front on the back side. So carefully drilling. Through here. Okay. So I've got my 2 holes drilled. I'm going to go ahead and take these 3/4 inch machine screws, stick them through the drawer box, come over here to my drawer, remove my 2 cents and my marking pins, and then I'm going to install these drawer front adjusters into the drawer box. There is a top and a bottom, and if you look at the side of this, there's some little ribs on the side of this, and the ribs should be sort of pointed in the upward direction, and that's kind of what holds it into the drawer face itself. So you tap that in with the hammer, and it should be flush. If this is sitting proud, then it's going to keep the drawer face from coming flush to the drawer front. So again, just checking to make sure we're in the up position. Making sure it's nice and flush. Then I'm going to grab my screwdriver and open the drawer, and I just need to get my first screw lined up with my, now the second one is a little bit easier because what I have to do is rotate the drawer face until it engages, and then I'm going to go ahead and tighten that screw there. Okay, so I'm going to snug those, not super tight, but enough to hold it so that it's not moving around too easily. Just maybe a little bit tighter. Okay, so let me go ahead and pull this out from the cap. So now our drawer face should be essentially perfectly flush to the bottom of the cabinet. I think it's a little bit high. Okay. So if we were on an installation, we could verify that this was level, but since I'm not really sure that my workbench is actually perfectly level, it's just sitting on the floor of the garage, I'm just going to reference off of the bottom of the cabinet. And it feels to me like we're pretty consistent. The other thing I could do is take a little rule here and measure the distance from the top of the drawer face to the top of the drawer stretcher. And right now I've got just under 7/16. And it should be exactly the same on this side. So it's just at the bottom of the line there. So it actually maybe needs to go. So that's at 7/16. 7/16. Okay, so I'm happy now with where that drawer face goes. So what I'm going to do is pull the drawer front out.
How about left to right?
We'll get to that. Okay. I'm going to tighten these drawer front adjusters. Okay. Okay. So George asked about left to right, and I do have left to right adjustment in the drawer fronts, but I have an easier way of actually adjusting left to right in the drawer tracks. So I had the two, if you look again at the bottom of the next drawer, that'll be easier. If you look at these two rotary dials here, those things will give you side-to-side adjustment. You have to both adjust them both simultaneously in the same direction. So you rotate them either to the right or to the left, and that will give you left-right adjustment. You probably have about 3 or 4 millimeters of left-right adjustment. Okay, so right now I've got this drawer front where I want it to be, and I'm ready to attach my next drawer front. So let's